What's going on, guys? Tysane here, back with another episode of classic video games that should not be forgotten about. If you're new here, I created this series because as the years go on, the gaming industry is exploding and some games might get left behind or forgotten about. So the goal of this series is to bring those games to light, to celebrate them, and let the younger generation know that these games are still worth playing. In my previous video, we go over Tales of Symphonia, the game that introduced me to the series. Today, we're going to be shifting over into the realm of Final Fantasy. The game we're going to discuss is the very first Final Fantasy game I had ever played. It was originally released by Square Enix on December 17th, 2001 in North America for the PS2. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Final Fantasy X, man, this game is just so nostalgic for me. Like I said, it released on the PS2, but it got an HD remaster in 2013 for the PS3, and then eventually it made its way to the PS4, Xbox consoles, and Windows. Now this is a groundbreaking game in the series for many reasons. It's the first game to feature full voice acting, 3D environment, and incredible cutscenes. Obviously, based on today's standards, the graphics are subpar, but at the time they were truly mind-blowing. And I think it's also important to bring up again that this game featured full voice acting. Why? Well, because it sets the mood, it adds depth to the characters, and in my opinion, it's an overall more enjoyable experience, especially if you're a kid, right? Because kids tend to get tripped up reading words. Not only that, but the music in this game is just on another level. It made me feel emotional, and it got to the point where I got goosebumps because of it. Now, in my opinion, what makes a good JRPG great are the plot, the characters, and the music. The plot of this game is relatively easy to follow, and it's told in the perspective of Tidus, a childish, cocky, 17-year-old star blitzball player who lives in the city of Zanarkand and plays blitzball for the Zanarkand Abes. Blitzball is an underwater aquatic sport that kind of reminds me of hockey. During his match, a giant monster starts to destroy the city. Tidus frantically comes across Auron, an older man that he knows, and they fight their way to safety. Eventually, Tidus gets separated from Auron and gets swept away to a mysterious new world. His main focus is to find a way back to his home world where he's loved by his fans. Tidus is childish, carefree, optimistic, and has daddy issues. Although when the tough gets going, he acts more serious. He uses a sword as a weapon and excels in speed. Yuna is a summoner. She's a very kind-hearted, selfless individual who always sees the best in someone. Even when she's sad and down, she'll always put a smile on for the sake of others. Auron doesn't play games. He's for the most part silent, but when he does speak, he always drops knowledge and wisdom. He's known Tidus since he was a kid and has a mysterious past. His weapon is a katana and excels in power. Lulu is one of the more serious characters and doesn't tend to show her emotions, but regardless is kind-hearted and is Yuna's guardian. She thinks of her as a younger sister. She's the black mage of the group that can pull off devastating spells. Wakka is a light-hearted blitzball player who likes to joke around. He's one of Yuna's guardians and protects her with a ball. Kimahri is a very silent but extremely loyal Ronso who is another one of Yuna's guardians. He uses a spear and he doesn't really specialize in anything. Rather, you can choose the path that you want to bring him down. Lastly, Riku is a happy-go-lucky, extremely energetic individual who tries to stay positive in bad situations. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but the music in this game is absolutely phenomenal. In the previous episode, I told you guys that for me, music is the deciding factor whether I feel like I'm playing a video game or I'm in a video game world, whether I have an emotional connection with the game or not. And the reason why I think like this now is because of this game here. Remember, games prior to the PS2 generation didn't really feature voice acting, so developers had to heavily rely on music to enhance the experience. But now that voice acting has become a thing, it's much easier to make a scene more emotional and set the tone. It adds an extra layer of engagement where the two can play off of each other to create a more cinematic feeling. The gameplay is overall pretty simple. It's a turn-based battle system and the order gets chosen automatically. There are some spells like haste and slow and other variables that can change the order in which character goes first, but other than that, there is no way to choose who goes first. Now you're probably thinking this is too simple, but it goes deeper than that. During combat, you can switch characters in and out as many times as you like. This is crucial because there are some party members that can better handle certain enemies. For example, Titus, he's a speedy character, but he's not that strong, so he's better suited to handle the faster enemies. There is also what is called overdrives. Now these attacks are extremely powerful and can be only used once the overdrive bar is full. As you progress through the game, each character will unlock multiple overdrive attacks. Now what has to be my most favorite part of the battle system are the summons, or in this game they're known as Aeons. Now Aeons are collected on your journey and become more powerful as you progress. You issue them commands in battles and they have devastating overdrive attacks. By far my favorite Aeon is Ifrit, he's just so dope. As for the world, this is probably the most controversial aspect of the game. It's extremely linear with not much exploration, and past Final Fantasy titles were open world. But for me, I actually prefer games that are more linear because it feels like I'm being told a story rather than creating my own. So why do I love this game so much and why do I want my kids to be playing this game? Well, like I said, this game is very nostalgic for me. It's the very first Final Fantasy game that I had ever played and it set the bar for me in terms of graphics and storytelling. It's great for those preteen age of kids because it hits genres like drama, love, friendship, and emotional growth. It's one of those games where just when things become predictable, they add some sort of twist to keep you on your toes. Now this game is sad, but there are moments of happiness to keep things light. And the characters, they meld well together, which adds another layer of enjoyment. That's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying this series, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're always up to date with my videos, and I'll see you next time.